New at 5, Des Moines police say one person is dead after a crash this morning in Beaverdale. Police say the driver who died was going southbound on Beaver Avenue, did not stop for a red light, and was hit by another driver going westbound on Hickman. Investigators didn't say if the other driver involved was hurt. Officers added the district attorney will determine whether to file charges against that other driver involved. The federal government is giving the University of Iowa $12.8 million. FEMA says the funding through its public assistance program will go towards what the agency calls emergency measures to support healthcare facilities and prevent the spread of COVID. It is part of a $1.2 billion collection of funds the emergency agency announced today that's also funding projects in Omaha, Kansas, and Missouri. City officials in West Des Moines broke ground today on a new fire station and EMS station. More than 12,000 square foot, the facility will be near Highway 5 and Veterans Parkway and serve areas on the city's growing south side. The new station is scheduled to open in late 2027. A new round of negotiations between the U.S. and Iran appears to be back on the table. The Trump administration announced a delegation will head to Pakistan for talks with mediators as the war heads into its third month. ABC's Christine Cordero has the latest from Washington.
Today, after a week of will they, won't they discussions about potential negotiations, the Trump administration confirms plans are set for Special Envoy Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner to head back to Pakistan for a second round of negotiations with Iran.
The Iranians want to talk. They want to talk in person. And so the president is, as I've said many times to all of you, always willing to give diplomacy a chance. So Steve and Jared will be heading to Pakistan tomorrow to hear the Iranians out.
Not scheduled to attend, Vice President J.D. Vance. Witkoff and Kushner are expected to meet with Pakistani mediators, who will also meet separately with an Iranian delegation. A senior Pakistani government official also tells ABC News if the meetings are a go, U.S. and Iranian delegations would meet directly on Sunday. The anticipating meeting comes as the war heads into its third month and during a fragile ceasefire tested largely at sea. Iran insists it has control over the critical Strait of Hormuz, which has stayed effectively closed to ship traffic, despite its reopening being part of the ceasefire agreement. The U.S. military has also asserted control of the strait, boarding and seizing this ship in the region over the weekend, according to the Pentagon. Today, Joint Chiefs of Staff Chair Dan Kane said troops gave the Iranian-linked vessel several warnings before taking action.
Over a 6-hour period, the vessel and her crew repeatedly ignored U.S. warnings. And then the U.S. Navy destroyer executed a series of pre-planned, carefully calibrated escalation options, including firing 5 warning shots.
Iranian state media reports Iran also seized 2 ships this week. Both sides say they control the strait. The White House says Vice President Vance will monitor negotiations alongside Secretary of State Marco Rubio, who will also stay in Washington. Christine Cordero, ABC News, Washington.
The Department of Justice dropping an investigation into Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell. Senators had been pushing the DOJ to back off before they vote on Powell's replacement, Kevin Warsh. Prosecutors had been looking into Powell after an audit determined renovations to the Fed's D.C. headquarters was millions of dollars over budget. Powell's term as Fed chairman ends next month.